You woke me up early from my hibernation.
No, I didn't. You see that clock? It's midnight.
That's a VCR, kid. Not even I, Kronos, master of all time, can set one of those things.
Back in the late 90s, Johnny Bravo brought swagger and slapstick to Cartoon Network in a way no other show could. But beneath the shades and catchphrases, this cult hit hides some truly oddball secrets. Here are 15 weird facts about Johnny Bravo, each one stranger than the last. Number 1. Johnny's mom was inspired by creator's aunt. Let's go back to the late 90s when Johnny Bravo strutted across Cartoon Network screens with his signature pompadour, all swagger and Elvis flair. But behind every outlandish son, there's a mom keeping the world on its axis. Bunny Bravo was that anchor, part homemaker, part comic relief, always the cheerful heart of the show. What most fans never guessed was that Bunny's vivacious spirit and tireless patience were drawn straight from creator Van Partible's own family. It was his real-life aunt who inspired Bunny, bringing a warmth and authenticity that made even the wackiest cartoon antics feel familiar. She wore floral housecoats, called Johnny Pumpkin, and turned their home into a safe zone of unconditional support, even as chaos erupted around her. Debuting in 1997, Johnny Bravo needed that relatable kitchen table comfort. Bunny became the pulse of the show, a gentle reminder that behind every goofy hero is usually the world's most understanding mom. It's a detail you sensed, even if you didn't know it, an affectionate wink to real family bonds hiding inside the wildest cartoons. Number 2. International censorship. You could hear the difference before you ever saw it on the screen. Johnny Bravo's bold, "Hey there, pretty mama," sometimes vanished entirely when episodes aired abroad. While the show debuted on Cartoon Network in 1997, Johnny's over-the-top flirting and cartoon machismo didn't exactly charm every global audience. In some European and Asian countries, broadcast standards insisted on toning down Johnny's relentless pickup lines. Producers had to redub or even snip entire scenes where his antics clashed with local sensibilities. The result? Johnny's catchphrases softened, and awkward advances swapped for more neutral banter, especially in markets like Italy and Japan. It's a quirky relic of late 90s TV. Just imagine growing up with a tamer Johnny Bravo, less brash and more bashful, all in the name of passing the censors. As we pull back the curtain on these international edits, you realize how even an outlandish cartoon can get lost in translation before it ever becomes a global punchline. In the next chapter, we'll see how these shifts shaped Johnny's world on screen and off. Number 3. Pop culture parodies galore. Few cartoons delivered pop culture parody with the punch of Johnny Bravo. In every episode, the show unleashed a tidal wave of winks to blockbuster movies, classic TV, and rock legends. One minute, Johnny was channeling Daniel from The Karate Kid, crane kicking his way through hijinks. The next, he strutted in a tuxedo straight out of a James Bond flick, complete with dramatic music and over-the-top villains. The writing was sharp and cheeky, full of sly references that adults grinned at, even as kids giggled at the slapstick. Airing on Cartoon Network in 1997, Johnny Bravo's wild mosaic of callbacks made it a rare show both parents and kids could enjoy, often for very different reasons. It was a weekly game. Who would catch the references first? Johnny might not have gotten the girl, but he always nailed the joke. Those sneaky pop culture nods still echo if you catch a rerun, leaving you smiling and wondering what other Easter eggs you might have missed. Time for another reveal, because nostalgia keeps the surprises coming. Number 4. The series launched careers. The colorful sound booth of Johnny Bravo was more than just a playground for wild hair and Elvis impersonations. Behind the scenes, up-and-coming voice actors were cutting their teeth, and the world would soon hear them everywhere. Jeff Bennett, whose signature smooth delivery brought Johnny and countless others to life, quickly became a go-to voice for both Cartoon Network and beyond. Meanwhile, young Mae Whitman, who stepped into the booth as a guest voice, parlayed her experience on Johnny Bravo into a prolific animation career, later starring in projects like Avatar: The Last Airbender and DC Superhero Girls. Airing in 1997, Johnny Bravo became an unexpected launchpad, a sort of animated Hollywood boulevard where talent got their big break. It was the place where scripts turned into stepping stones, and creative energy echoed far beyond the cartoon's zany world. In every laugh and catchphrase, you could almost hear the starting gun for new careers in animation. Next, the spotlight lands somewhere even more surprising. Number 5. Real celebrities wanted on. Imagine tuning into Cartoon Network on a lazy weekend and catching Johnny Bravo flexing his way into the Cartoon Hall of Fame. What really set this show apart, though, were the real-life celebrities who dove headfirst into Johnny's unpredictable universe. The likes of Farrah Fawcett, Donny Osmond, and Shaquille O'Neal weren't just referenced. They showed up as themselves, poking fun at their own personas. There was Farrah, cool as ever, helping Johnny out of yet another jam in her signature style. Shaq, larger than life, teaching Johnny a thing or two about being a real star. Even Donny Osmond's self-aware charm fit strangely well with Johnny's relentless egotism. This willingness to self-parody added a new flavor to the show, turning every guest appearance into a playful pop culture moment. Premiering in 1997, Johnny Bravo felt like a mishmash of Elvis impressions and old-school Hanna-Barbera humor. But those celebrity cameos gave fans something special, a sense that anything and anyone could drop into Johnny's world. That blend of imagination and star power kept audiences guessing what or who would pop up next. Let's pause for a second. Which Johnny Bravo celebrity cameo made you laugh out loud? Or was there a guest star in another favorite cartoon that totally surprised you? Share your memories with us before we jump into the next story. Number 6. Van Partible left and returned. Get this, after the first season of Johnny Bravo aired in 1997, creator Van Partible suddenly left the show. Creative clashes meant he had to watch from the sidelines as his muscle-bound, Elvis-voiced creation veered in a new direction. Cartoon Network brought in a fresh team, eager for new jokes and a new feel. But without Partible's campy wit and signature style, the humor lost its edge, and fans started to drift away. Ratings slumped, and by season 3, Bravo's best moves just weren't landing. Desperate for a comeback, the network reached out. Partible made his grand return for season 4 in 2004, and the difference was electric. Suddenly, Johnny was snappier, the celebrity spoofs sharper, and that wild energy snapped back in place. For a moment, the heart of Johnny Bravo was right where it belonged. It's proof that sometimes the original spark is the hardest thing to replace. Next, we'll see what happened after this creative rescue mission. Number 7. Cartoon Network pulled episodes. Few things in 90s animation ignited as many belly laughs as Johnny Bravo. This bombastic, pompadour-sporting heartthrob was everywhere in 1997, his Elvis swagger fueling Cartoon Network's after-school lineup. But look a little closer, and you'll notice a strange gap. Episodes like Johnny Meets Donny Osmond suddenly disappeared from reruns, their quirky celebrity cameos now relics of a passing era. As pop culture moved on, Cartoon Network quietly pulled episodes featuring now out-of-date music icons and references that left younger fans scratching their heads. The aim was to keep things fresh and relatable, so those oddball encounters with stars like Donny Osmond drifted into obscurity. Still, for the older crowd, memories of Johnny's wide-eyed antics and oddball guests carry a distinct flavor, an echo of the days when cartoons weren't afraid to be a little weird, a little wild. Those missing episodes remind us how animation bends to the times, but also how some laughs never really go out of style. Up next, we peel back another layer from the world of vanished TV. Number 8. Gender-swapped episode never aired. Picture the yellow-haired heartthrob of Johnny Bravo, that swaggering cartoon icon on Cartoon Network in 1997. Now imagine him waking up, still flexing, only to find himself in a world ruled by women, with his macho shtick turned upside down. That was the premise of a daring episode written behind closed doors. The twist? Johnny's usual ego and bravado would suddenly feel out of place, as every traditional gender role swapped around him. Writers wanted to poke fun at stereotypes and flip the script on Johnny's antics. But early storyboards and drafts never made it to the living room screen. The network, nervous about ruffling feathers in the climate of the late 1990s, shelved the episode before animators could bring it to life. If it had aired, it might have sparked big laughs, or maybe even big debates, about what we expect from our favorite cartoons. Sometimes, even in the anything-goes days of Cartoon Network, boundaries held stronger than a pompadour in a wind tunnel. As the credits rolled on finished episodes, that secret script lived on as a what-if, nudging us to wonder what else stayed hidden in Johnny's world. Number 9. Johnny's hair was almost blue. Before Johnny Bravo strutted onto the Cartoon Network stage as the ultimate wannabe Elvis, his look was wildly different. Early concept sketches from 1997 revealed Johnny with a shock of blue hair. Bold, stylish, and completely at odds with the smooth-talking, retro-cool persona we now remember. The artists originally experimented with that vivid color, but made a crucial switch to blonde. Why? Going blonde gave Johnny a slick, sun-bleached vibe, echoing Elvis Presley's iconic pompadour. It also meant Johnny stood out from the blue-haired royalty already on television, like Marge Simpson, whose towering beehive ruled Sunday nights. By the time Johnny Bravo hit Cartoon Network screens with his signature shade shades, and catchphrases, the change had paid off. Suddenly, he was instantly recognizable, another cartoon icon for late 90s kids to imitate. As you picture him now, muscle-bound, sunglasses flashing, it's strange to imagine he was almost part of the blue-haired club. Sometimes just the right color can make all the difference. Next, let's uncover more hidden quirks from this larger-than-life show. Number 10. Scooby-Doo crossed over on purpose. Picture the swing of Johnny Bravo's hair and the classic thump of Scooby-Doo's feet together in one wild caper. In the first season of Johnny Bravo, the episode titled Bravo Dooby-Doo stunned fans in 1997 by bringing Mystery Inc. eyes straight into Johnny's muscle-bound, Elvis-tinged universe. The crossover was more than a gag. It was a heartfelt nod to the cartoon magic spun by Hanna-Barbera. Scooby, Shaggy, Velma, and the rest teamed up with Johnny to solve a haunted mansion mystery, poking fun at classic tropes from both shows. Jinkies and Man, I Look Good shared the same screen, and for many, it was a dream collision of Saturday morning rituals. The episode became an instant fan favorite for its playful spirit and for honoring two animation icons. Just imagine the laughter ringing out as Daphne calls Johnny Mystery Man and Fred sketches another one of his outlandish traps. Sometimes the best crossovers don't just solve a mystery, they create new ones, echoing into our memories as proof of cartoon serendipity. Number 11. Johnny almost had a catchphrase ban. There's something irresistible about a cartoon bad boy with a quiff and a catchphrase. In 1997, Johnny Bravo strutted onto Cartoon Network, sunglasses gleaming and ego dialed to 11. His signature greeting, "Hey there, pretty mama," became the pulse of every episode, practically a schoolyard motto. But for a blip behind the scenes, network executives considered banning Johnny's catchphrase, worried it was getting stale. That decision did not land well. A wave of fan letters poured in, demanding they keep the over-the-top charm that made Johnny Bravo. Well, Johnny Bravo. The network swiftly reversed course, letting Johnny's voice actor Jeff Bennett deliver the line just as often as he pleased. That phrase stuck around, eventually helping define the show's oddball appeal and cementing it as a pop culture nod for a whole generation. Sometimes the fans really do know best. Johnny's catchphrase lives on, echoing through nostalgia and reminding us how even the smallest things can become big-time TV legends. Number 12. Seth MacFarlane wrote for Johnny. Blink twice, and you might just catch the edge of Seth MacFarlane's wit hiding behind Johnny Bravo's sunglasses. Long before the world met the Griffin family in 1999, Seth MacFarlane was shaping the humor of Cartoon Network's Johnny Bravo. In the late 90s, MacFarlane penned several episodes, lacing them with the off-kilter pacing and snappy pop culture nods that would later become his signature. You can spot it in Johnny's blink and you miss it cutaways and the way celebrity one-liners zing by. Back in 1997, Cartoon Network was a playground for up-and-coming animators, and MacFarlane's contribution helped make Johnny Bravo stand out with its blend of Elvis swagger and snarky, knowing winks to the audience. His scripts set the tone for Johnny's quick-cut gags, planting the seeds for what would grow into the fast-paced humor of Family Guy. Every time Johnny dropped a self-aware line or referenced a blink and you'll miss it pop culture moment, you were seeing the origins of a comedy legend. The echoes of that swagger still shake through animation today as we move toward the next chapter. Number 13. Piloted under a different name. Before he became the pompadour-sporting Elvis lookalike we all remember, Johnny Bravo made his first swaggering entrance in a totally different context. The pilot episode, Meso Blues, hit screens in 1995 as part of Cartoon Network's What a Cartoon showcase. Back then, the show was just called Johnny Bravo, with none of the memorable supporting cast. No Carl, no Pops, just the raw bones of a character and a bucket of Elvis-inspired bravado. The pilot's immediate, over-the-top humor and wild energy turned heads. Audience feedback was so strong that Cartoon Network wasted no time. By 1997, Johnny Bravo had a full series and a brand new roster of quirky characters, cementing its place in the animation boom. That moment, when a simple pilot caught fire, reminds us how one weird spark can ignite a classic, forever shaping after-school TV routines. There's always something magical about catching a pop culture icon before anyone else knows its name. Number 14. Elvis Presley's estate objected. The sunglasses, pompadour, and southern swagger were unmistakable. Johnny Bravo was Cartoon Network's answer to every Elvis-loving kid's Saturday morning in 1997. Series creator Van Partible didn't hide his inspiration. Johnny strutted, spoke, and even danced with a hip-thrusting bravado straight from the King's playbook. But while kids were in on the joke, the Presley estate was not amused. Word traveled fast to Cartoon Network, and the estate made it clear: keep Johnny Bravo's act original, Avoid any Elvis music and steer clear of impersonation. No blue suede shoes, no hound dog, just cartoon heroics, and a voice that danced just close enough to copyright trouble. The restriction kept the show firmly on its own zany path, turning Johnny into a one-of-a-kind icon rather than an imitation. Fans might not have noticed the sonic boundary, but in the writer's room, every thank you very much came with a raised eyebrow. As we leave the echo of Elvis behind, we find Johnny carving out a legacy that was truly his own, one primetime catchphrase at a time. Number 15. Adam West voiced himself. On a regular afternoon in Aaron City, you might spot a square-jawed mama's boy chatting away with a familiar deep-voiced hero. During seasons 2 and 3 of Johnny Bravo, Adam West, famed for Batman in the 1960s, voiced a cheerful, cartoonish version of himself. Suddenly, Johnny had a celebrity mentor, equal parts ridiculous and respected. West's unexpected cameo was more than just a nod to his past. It became a running gag. He played up his campy Batman legacy with goofy gravitas, while comic book fans tuned in just to hear his instantly recognizable delivery. This was one of those rare crossovers that delighted kids and sent grown-up Batman fans scrambling for the remote. By celebrating West's quirky self-parody, Johnny Bravo blurred the line between animation and pop culture legend, reminding everyone that heroes can be silly. In every scene, West's voice winked at the old days and kept us guessing who might pop in next, cape or no cape.